in this episode of the Living God's Light podcast.
I spoke to and I said, am I dying? Am I dead? Is this heaven? And all of a sudden this overwhelming, it still gets to me, this damn burst inside of me, like something was awoke and nothing but pure love came from it. Like I felt joy and peace and everything made sense. I was in the purest presence of love itself. That's what this space was. That's what happens after we die.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
Living God's light.
Cara, do you have any kids?
I have a cat.
You have a cat?
I have a very white, long-haired, fluffy cat. His name is Moonlight. He's
Nice.
fantastic.
Moonlight.
Yeah, he's
Awesome.
as close as I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he a fur baby?
He is an independent fur baby. He chooses love when he wants it, and he is very good. He usually doesn't. He's not a loud cat. He's I found him during COVID. Actually, he was one of my little miracles, and he was this big when I found him, and just like glowing in the moonlight because it was in the middle of the night. So yeah, he's
awesome.
he's a good boy. Yeah. He's a good boy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks.
So, Cara, how do you know Vinny? Because Vinny just sends me a text message and says, reach out to Cara.
Oh, I love it. Yes, a very dear friend of both of ours, actually, Scott Drummond, connected us. I'm putting on a conference here, and I mean, Scott had nothing but amazing things to say about Vinny, and so I was like, hey, and then all of a sudden I'm here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So how long ago was your NDE?
Oh, I was 8 years old. So,
You were 8 years old.
Yeah, I'm 41 right now. So a minute. It's been, a little bit.
Cool. So I know nothing about this. Can you please share? I'd love to hear what your experience was.
Cool. Oh, good. So I am from a very small town in Kansas, like a micro town, and about 500 people. And we were raised on a ranch outside of that. And one day, on our bikes, myself and my little sister, Bonnie, I was about 8, she was about 5. We were outside playing, and it was about mid-morning. I loved being on my bike. I loved it, everything about it. Being in the country, like we didn't have any neighbors. Like there was just CRP grass and golden wheat fields for as far as you could see, and there's like pastures, and it's just like the sunflowers. Kansas.
Oh, okay.
Kansas, yeah, super small town, prairie land, and so. Of course, I wanted to spite a little bit. And our house was on top of like a hill. And on the very bottom was my father's shop. He had a very large construction company. And there was a barn and a shop connected to it. And in that doorway was a water lip is what we call it. We about 4 inches by 4 inches keeps the water from going in when the garage goes down, right? And so there happened to be like a divot just like cut out of it because I think one of the fellows dropped something on it, and it was literally no bigger than this. And I was like, you know what? That's a ramp. That's a really cool BMX, like going to catch some air ramp in your little 8-year-old head, And so I started from the top of that hill in front of my sister and like pushed off and went as fast as I could. And I thought it was going to be the best day of my life. I was going to catch air, turn around and like wave and then go inside. Well, that didn't happen. My front bike or my front tire hit that and I went over the handlebars. And there was that split second between when you like lift up and you're like, oh, I'm flying. And you're like, oh my God, I'm flying. And then the world changed forever for me because in that moment, like this bubble of divine protection kind of from inside out expanded, which I know now is awareness. And I heard myself hit the cement floor of that garage. And I knew I hit my head, and I remember hearing my body and myself sigh at the same time, just kind of crumbling and just kind of passing out. And I remember when I was waking up, I was lying down and I could see blinding light from what I thought was the garage door opening, and I could feel the floor underneath me. And I was trying to blink because it was just so bright. And as I was coming to, I saw this figure in the doorway, and it was so hazy I couldn't tell if it was female or male, right? And I thought it was my little sister, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you need to go get mom and dad. I need help," because I tried to move and I couldn't. Like, my body would not move. It was like 1,000-pound weight, and it was like I was trapped inside of it. And the figure didn't move, and I, increasingly got upset because you're like, your little sister isn't going to help you or whatnot. So I kind of got a little upset, and I was like, "Mom and dad are going to be so mad at you. I really need help." Again, that, like, they weren't moving, they weren't helping me. And so as I was speaking to that figure, and kind of felt my awareness take in what was really kind of happening, like the light that was still blinding and it wasn't focusing, and the darkness around that rectangle, which was the garage door, right? Because I should have seen through that, what I thought was sunlight. I should have seen the blue sky, the clouds. I should have seen the 30-foot cattle trailer. I should have seen the rolling hills of the wheat fields, and I couldn't see any of that. And then around that, the rectangle, that darkness, I should have seen like the ceiling, right? I should have seen the sides of the building, or the garage, and I couldn't. And so it hit me. And, what I thought was darkness was actually, space, like vast space, like space, infinite space. And, yet it was still holding me. Like, there was nothing there, and yet something was still underneath me holding me. And then I saw the light, and, what I thought was sunlight was actually light and life itself. And I took all of that in, and I realized I wasn't speaking anymore. And I looked at that figure again, and it made sense. And, I spoke, to, and I said, am I dying? Am I dead? Is this heaven? And all of a sudden, this overwhelming, it still gets to me, this damn burst inside of me, like something was awoke, or, and like nothing but pure love came from it. Like, I felt joy and peace, and everything made sense. Like, I was in the purest presence of love itself. Like, that's what this space was. That's what happens after we die. And as I took all of that in, I came back to myself, and I discovered a voice inside, the way to speak to this presence, because it didn't say a word, but I knew what it was saying. I knew it was trying to get across. And I spoke to it with that inner voice, and I said, or it asked me, it said, are you ready? And I spoke back to it with that inner voice, and I said, yes. And then all of a sudden I fell into myself, into that vastness space of love. I call it the dwelling place of love. And as I did that, I remember it was just full abandon, full trust, because in that space, when I realized I was in the purest presence of love, fear wasn't even existent. Like, there wasn't even an option for it. And as I was coming back into love, into myself, falling into that vastness, because I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know if I was going to heaven. I didn't know I was going back in the body. I just knew I was going to trust that love no matter where it took me. And there was a place, there was a space, a point where when I was falling into that love, I crossed this line where fear could exist. And I can only say that that's when I hit my body. And I remember blacking out. And I was lying on the couch and was speaking to my mother like I'm speaking to you. And I was having a conversation I knew nothing about. I didn't know how I got into the house on the couch with a blanket and a mirror in my hand. And I asked my mother, where am I? How did I get here? What happened? And she was confused and a little frustrated. And so she left. And I remember on the mirror, I could see like this part of my face. And I just kind of like, instinctively you tilt it to kind of see myself. And I remember losing it, because there was if you cut a lemon in half and you put it on a second grader's head, like from here all the way down into my scalp, it was just like a huge, almost black contusion. Like it, like literally, crater or, like stuck on my face. And I remember that part, and I remember getting to the hospital, and my mother had, 8 children. I was the 7th of those 8 children, and all the doctors knew her, like from the beginning of time. And I've never heard that doctor yell at my mother once, not once ever. And he was so mad at her. He was like, "Why did you wait this long? Were you never going to bring her in? She should, 1, be alive, and 2, you should never have waited that long. She could have died." And after that moment, I knew, 1, I shouldn't be here, and 2, something happened, and I was just different from that day on. Like I was like what people would call transfigured. Like I was just a different being because of love itself. That's what I experienced in my near-death experience.
Tell me more about that change, that transfiguration. How has that transformed the way you live your life?
Now?
Yeah.
I can't help but see what other people don't. And what I mean by that is how everything here is a miracle. Like every day is a miracle. So after I came back, right, I was so connected to everything. It's like everything was more alive. I had a different spectrum. Like I could see a spectrum of light people couldn't see, like a almost like sound that people couldn't hear. It's like everything was alive. I was very connected with nature, animals and the wind and the way that the earth was and the sunshine and things like that. But also I couldn't help but see love in everything. Like I wanted to be everyone's friend. I didn't understand why there was ever conflict. Like how could we not just love this life and each other and just want to be connected and whatnot. And it's, it's when you see love once, you can't help but see it in everything. And truly to this day, I think I see everything as miraculous, like every day, everything that grows, the fact that we're actually like here on this planet that's flying through space. I can't help it. Like I can't, some people like forget that. I can't, like, I just am so, I'm just so happy to be here. I'm just so grateful that, because every day is a blessing. Every person is a special being that's just like this living, breathing, being of light, love, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it. It's just a miracle. Like every day's magic.
Well, I'm just curious, Vinny, like what resonates with you when you hear Kara's story? What resonates with your own NDE and how it connects? Because Kara, you were very young. Like to me, I would imagine that feels like a gift because how much of your life you've got to live, with this feeling, this love and knowing. But Vinny, your experience was much later in life. So how does it resonate?
Well, we have something in common. Like, I almost died on my bike many times before I had my near-death experience. So I was hit by cars a couple times. So, but the thing that really resonates to me is this awareness that you aren't what is only in the body. And that was like that first awareness as you were getting ready to have that experience. You were aware that you weren't just the energy inside the body, you were this energy outside as well. And, modern technology is now just tapping into that. But what I love about your experience is this new awareness that you are something much bigger than what you thought you were in this little child body. And it's not something you can forget about. It's not something you can just say, "Oh, brush it off. I'll just forget this."
Oh God.
It changes you. It shifts you. And for you, I can feel like it opened you in that space outside your body to be more aware of everything that space is touching, whether it be trees or whether it be water. One of the first things that I noticed when I first came back too is I would go sit down next to a stream and I would just weep.
Oh.
Because I would sit there and see the miracle of this living water and how it would create life everywhere it was touching. And then I would feel like the miracle of a single blade of grass growing out of that water, and how it just happened to grow right there, and how it got there, and being aware of kind of the soul pathology, or the pathway for everything to be everything. And to think that we're just random, that this is just a random happenstance of life. It's just not possible.
No.
It's truly not possible. There's so much engineering and intelligence into what this is, this experience. And I love your experience. It helps all of us kind of remember we're more than what we think our day is. We're more than what we think we see in the mirror. That we have this expansive, energetic body. Some people might call it your aura or something like that, but it's this energy around you. And that's why getting a bunch of us together, whether it's at church or an IONS convention, or just getting a few friends together, just being in the vicinity of each other's energy, you shift each other. You have influence, positive or negative, over each other. And that's a beautiful thing. I love that at such a young age, you were able to access that, because you still had your magic brain going,
That's,
as a kid, you still have that magic.
Too. That's so, I love that you brought that up, because it was like that little, it's like that 7 to 8 year mark or whatever. Yeah. And it never left. And I'm so glad, because it's literally changed the trajectory of my life to where I've just lived this miraculous love story with love itself. It's just, it's fantastic. But no, and to your point, Vinny, outside was the only place I felt like I fit, because it was wide enough and high. Like it was just, I just felt like, oh, okay, I can stay here like that. Okay. Yeah, for sure. And that's, I think, was one of the big draws, even to this day.
Yeah. For me, it was, I had to be running, I had to be biking, I had to be rollerblading. Like I just had to get out and just, What's your favorite takeaway? What's your favorite after effect from your experience?
Oh, my connection with love itself. It changed everything, from the fact that I relied on that more than anything else. Some of the things that I would hear from like parents or teachers or preachers or whoever it is, I would always check inside, because it was so real, it was so tangible. Like, I've heard once from people who, and I haven't studied a lot of the science or near-death experiences or whatnot. I've listened to a lot of them, like Scott's and Vinny's and whatnot, but I haven't studied it a lot. But they say that if you have a childhood near-death experience, you have such a solid connection with love itself, or the divine, or God, that that's more important than anything else. And that's 100% the case. Like since I was a child to this day, and I have followed that, and it has led me on this journey, what I call, in my book, like love's, love story with me. And it has allowed me to see things like, if we're going to go, into very tangible things, like I've had premonitions of loved ones, deaths, and I've had really deep connections, like I said, with like nature and animals and whatnot. And then it kind of led to me really needing divine guidance, and having that connection, and having that faith and trust in love itself and the divine in me has led me to like actual physical miracles. And that would be, I think, my connection with love that was built through, I mean, love pursued me. Love did not allow me to forget, didn't allow me to fade or whatnot. And I relentlessly went back to that. I relentlessly developed that relationship, and that means the most to me. That is the most precious thing I think I have in this life.
Do you say you have a book?
I do. Yeah. It's actually, so this is my proof. I am, it is live now, but it's called Meant for Miracles.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Oh, thank you
That's
so
awesome.
much. Yeah. It has been, a labor of love. It literally would not be written. Like, it just would not stop. I promise. I tried not to. I was like, oh, that's nice. And it's like, you're not going to sleep for 4 years until you write this.
Totally understand. And I know what a huge project it is. So tell me a little bit about it.
So Meant for Miracles is, it's near-death experience, it's divine healing, and it's love's pursuit of me, basically. And it is the story of from when I had my near-death experience at 8, and then all of these moments, well, one, how it transformed me, and all of these moments, like miraculous moments, like divine moments. I call them fingerprints of the divine, where love pursued me. It developed that relationship with me, and from energetic healings to premonitions of the deaths of loved ones to me literally being miraculously healed of 3rd-generation genetic breast cancer. And so yeah, it's my love story with love, and it crescendos to the point where we're all meant for miracles, because this life is so miraculous. Everything that I see, I tried to share with others, and hopefully it's a holy reminder that we are walking miracles, and that we are to remember that, hopefully, in a very gentle way.
I love that. Where can we get it?
Yeah, so it's on Amazon actually for paperback, and if you just Google, or not Google, I search Meant for Miracles, Cara Marlene, it'll pop right up.
Okay, sure, Alyssa, we'll put a link in the notes.
Thank you so much, dear.
So I have some questions for you, because I'm sitting here thinking, you talked about the dwelling place of love and stepping into that. I have no idea what that even means. So can you, I know it's always indescribable with these earthly words, but can you do your best to kind of describe what that was like to feel that, and maybe how I could find my own piece of that?
Yes. So I'm not a religious person, but I was raised Christian, and I believe that there's truth in all spiritual practices and whatnot. And one of the only ways that I can connect with this is a scripture, and it is one thing I ask. So sorry. One thing I ask, and that I will seek, and that is to dwell in the house of the Lord all of my days, to gaze upon its beauty, to ask questions and find answers there. And that encompasses that which I found inside. And the way that I not just found it, but keep going back to it was I found myself meditating just naturally, and just kind of having those quiet, still moments, and allowing all to fade. And it eventually gets easier to get to that dwelling place, to get to those moments of stillness, to be able to hear with divine hearing, and to see with divine eyes. And those are so breath work and meditation are the two ways that I have found my way through just the chaos of life, which we all have, right? No matter what, but it has been a proven point to me. If I meditate and I do breath work on a daily basis, it's like breathing, basically. Like it's easy for me to find it, but also stay in that moment. And what I found is I was a bit of as a little girl, when I would meditate and things, I'd find myself outside and things. But one of the things that I found was very different than most people's journeys is that I was a bit of a firecracker. I would talk to love quite audaciously. I'm like, if you're real, you make yourself real to me. And I was like that little, I was like, well, if you're real, then you better make yourself so real I can't deny it. That kind of stuff. So if you are like a firecracker inside, like love will meet you there, man. Like it's real. Or there are moments where you can just kind of settle into that space and just ask love to speak or whatnot. But don't be afraid to kind of like poke it a little bit. Like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah.
Make yourself known to me.
Yeah, you better. Or you're not real.
So what I'm hearing is if there's something that if you want that, you can expect it and basically tell it to show up, and you don't have to be passive about it. You can basically create the relationship that you want, and if you expect it, it'll appear.
That's definitely what I did. Yeah, for sure. Love will show up in the way that you need, but it will show up if you ask, because I mean, again, if you ask, you're gonna get it. And it's true, man. It's so true. Sometimes I'm like, I asked for this. Okay, can you a little less of that, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, the intention is there. Some people call it manifestation. Some call it like prayer, things like that. I believe there's again congruency with those two, and it's it's intent, it's heart, it's what's behind it, But anytime I have ever, I mean, I've been my life on love, and it showed up, man. It made itself known, and it worked for me. So I would encourage, others, if they are looking, that would be a start.
That sounds like it's connected in Vinny's experience in the book, The Light After Death. There's a chapter on the power of creation. And it sounds like it ties directly into that you can use that power of creation to create that relationship with love and your life experience, and what you expect is what you can create.
I notice in this life, we all get access to that home of love, or that resting place of love when in glimpses. We don't get like, the room. We get a little glimpse here when we hold our child, or we see a beautiful sunset or sunrise, or we're having fun running or recording a podcast. We get little glimpses here and there, but it is interesting that for I would say most experiencers, the second you exit the mortal consciousness and step into the eternal consciousness, you feel that room of love around you.
Oh yeah.
So it's here, but it's our illusion that keeps us from it. And that's why we can get glimpses of it here and there. Yeah.
Interesting. It makes me frustrated that I can't just like snap my fingers and get to it.
You're like, give me directions, give me a list, I'll be there.
That's me, man. That's me. But it's also like it's worth striving for, though. It's worth putting in the work, right? It's worth creating the space to tap into it. What do you say to people that are like struggling through really hard stuff, and feel like that love is void from them? Kara, what do you say to them? Because you have this knowledge. What would you say to comfort?
So when I usually tell them about the tumultuous times in my life where it has just been like, for example, when I was diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer, my parents were diagnosed with two cancers the year before. And so the emotional, physical, it was such a tumultuous time. And I share that with them so they can understand that when I say, okay, it's not roses, but if we can find stillness in the storm as well, like we can find those moments. And it's like there's a joy among the storm. Like there's almost like this firm foundation, even though things are spinning and twirling. And like there's so I was from Kansas, right? And there were like, I lived through tornadoes, like real ones on a regular basis. And there is something about feeling just absolute chaos. Like there is something out of your control stirring your entire world up, right? And there is there's a paradox with that storm. There is an undeniable, unshakable, firm foundation of joy. Now, joy isn't happiness. Joy is something that will hold you steady through the storm. It's about learning how to hold the paradox of that and walking through it. So when I have these moments where I've lived through all of these tumultuous times and really challenging situations, there is something to being carried through, something to a firm foundation when the seas stir. Like there is, if again, I go back to the meditation, the stillness, the prayer, whatever it is that you do to get back into that space. It's not going to calm the storm, but it's going to carry you through. It's going to have that foundation. And so again, I say not to worry, because it is those moments were hard. God, they were so hard. But that's the only way I can describe it, because there was a solid assurance in me while all of the world turned. So that's what I would say, that it's sometimes not about calming the storm. It's about learning how to kind of walk steadily through it.
For me, it's like, the storm of life is happening around me. I have to find the calming in me.
Mm.
And then I have to have the intention, hey, I need some of that love of the universe. I'm going to try to find it in my breath. And then literally just sit
Breathe
there
it
and
out.
breathe. And
Yeah.
what's really neat is I will breathe in the energy of I'm okay. And then I'll breathe in the energy of I am loved. And then I'll breathe in the energy of I'm safe. And sometimes you can be in the middle of crazy stuff happening. And if you can find that peace inside, all of a sudden the storm starts calming around you too. So it's one of those things it takes the master controller up here to get in and make those choices, to not be part of the storm, but to calm it inside first, to allow the outside to start calming. Yeah.
So I have a question about how all of this, this living in love, this relationship with love, how that affects your relationships with other people. Because I assume, still being human, you still run into people that irritate and frustrate, and you're like, I wish things were different. How do you experience that? How do you hold that? What's your advice?
It's much easier to let people go in love. Specifically, like, for example, when I've lost friends, or I've moved or something like that. But specifically, like very recently, I've lost quite a few, 3 major friends in my life. And it's just because me doing this kind of, my energy is shifting. My life is changing. I'm doing conferences and speaking in Malta now. And they just can't really understand it. I let them go in love much easier because, one, I know that I'm okay by myself. The universe love will always give me what I need. People, places to live. Just give me anything that I need. And it is so much easier to let them to go in love if it's like a personal friend or whatnot, or just someone in your life that's kind of moving on. But if there are people who are in my life, let's say like a coworker or something, and they're a challenge, like as far as, they're challenging me on a regular basis because they hear about my story and whatnot. They're just, people are just challenging. It's easier to tap into that love, and just, again, kind of breathe out. If there's something that comes up, I'm like, oh, they just don't love like I do. It's okay. Like, that's all right. This little nincompoop just doesn't understand. And I'm just going to breathe in love and breathe out love and just know, okay, yeah, for sure. Just show them kindness, show them patience, and just be so interlocked into my own dwelling place and my own. Now, again, this is not without a challenge. This isn't without like, oh, okay, like, I love you. It's so hard right now. But again, I think that my relationship with love and because as independent as I am, as I've chosen to be, to live the life I have, that assurance has made it easier to let go of people with love and to dwell with them in love.
And something I found when I get frustrated with people, it's usually because I expect them to be somebody other than who they are.
Oh yeah.
And once I realize that, once that clicks again in my mind, I'm like, okay, hang on.
Yeah.
I can't expect them to be somebody other than who they are. I can love them and hopefully help them through that love become what I think would be a better version of themselves, but I can't expect that. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to love them as they are, where they are, and let love do whatever work needs to be done. But when I realize that the problem is my expectation, that helps me change my perspective, and then it becomes easier.
That's a really good point.
Well, it's funny how random people around us, we see them act how they're acting. We don't think we need to get involved, but heaven forbid someone we know is near us and they're doing something. We're like, hey, should we be doing that? Like, we give so much more grace to random strangers than to our own peeps, our own close people.
Yeah. And we give kids a whole lot more leeway because we're like, we expect them to be that way.
Yeah.
We just have different expectations at people at different stages in life, but we don't know what they're going through. We don't know their story.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining us. Coming up next in part 2.
And I said, I still know you're good. Even though this didn't work, I still know you're good. And I know the path that I'm meant to take. And I know that with you, I can walk through anything. And so whatever your will is, I accept. And the moment I accept came from my lips, this palm width beam of power came from the small hand on my back, through my torso, split in two, and hovered over both breast lumps and stayed there for songs. This doctor whirls into the room and says, Cara, thank you for coming in. We'll see you when you're 40. There are no lumps. There's nothing to find.